Hey folks, right, I'm just going to crack on with this kitchen bit here, try and sort this out. No preamble, waffle and all the rest of it. I'm going to try and get on with it. That'll be the day, eh? Obviously, first things first. That goes in there, comes there. Let's get the right bit. So on these things, when you get them lined up to connect up, there's a little hex key that goes in there, and I don't know where I've put it. Because why would they be here where I need them? Of course they wouldn't. For some reason, that little bit of the worktop is making me think of Texas. Do you remember Texas Instruments, where they did the spell thing? C-A-T, cat. That is correct. That sort of thing. Anyway, what am I doing here? Why have I slid it out? Well, I'm just going to put in, not quite proper biscuits, but I'm going to just put in a little jointing hole and peg. If I put some pegs in there, they're going to have to be quite small, because I'm going to have to lift that up and tilt it and drop it in. We'll see what happens. And I know people have said seal it, even though it's going to get glued and what have you, that it kind of seals the cut on here to stop it getting wet and just expanding and all the rest of it. So I'm going to try and I've kind of put some guide marks as to where they need to go. Well, I mean, what could go wrong? Well, I'm at that point where I'm trying to glue stuff, and I've got that impact adhesive that before anyone has a go, it was the kitchen people who said, here, use this. So I'm using what they recommended. One of those things that you put it on thinly and then you got to leave it for at least 20 minutes. So you've probably seen me sort of messing about with other bits. I've got a tube of adhesive as well that I'm kind of, should you mix your adhesives? I don't know. Or could you just use that colour fill? But it's one of those ones that you can repair work surfaces with, but you can also use it for jointing. So I'm just putting a tiny bit in so that the joint has a tiny bit of a brown colour to try and match it in to that. Yeah, it's fiddly, and it's the first time I've ever tried it. It's amateurish. I get you. I hear you. However, it will, when it's done, be fitted a hell of a lot better than other kitchens I've seen that are supposedly fitted by professionals. It's my dream. I can have it whichever way I want. And so can you. You can dream and make your house any sort of shape, size, use any material you want. You can do it however you like. And if you're happy with it, then that is all that counts. Yeah. Get out there rather than thinking, what is it? Start now, get perfect later. Something like that. Yeah, just get out there and do it. Put it in. Yeah, there's a bit of a gap. Yeah, there's a bit, that isn't brilliant. But I am well impressed with the fact that I'm getting to this point. What was that? It's taken you a year. Yes. Yeah, it's taken a ridiculously long time, hasn't it? But there's just so much of it that I was thinking about this morning, and I'm not filling, obviously, whilst that's drying, but I am. But I was thinking about it this morning. What would I have done differently? Knowing what I know now, if I was starting again, I think the number one thing would be to just blitz the house. I mean, totally shred it. Rather than scraping little bits of wallpaper off, bloody take the plaster off if that's quicker and easier. Just empty it. Just get rid of everything. Just smash it about, pull it apart and all the rest of it. Because quite frankly, to still be doing some plastering bits and still be doing some of the messy bits now is madness. It's absolute madness. Now, the problem was that Matt wanted to be in months and months ago. So some of the things went out of order because I was trying to make it, you actually had some water, you had a toilet, you had a shower, you had a sink and a cooker and things like that. So things went out of order and all the rest of it. So tip number 2 is be sensible in terms of what you're doing. Now, I know that if you are doing up a house and you're living in it, as is happening here, then it's hard. It's hard to live around the mess and all the rest of it. And yes, it would be much easier if it was empty and you didn't have to do anything or keep moving the food and whatever. You could have the power off or the water off for ages and all those sort of things. Yes, that does make it easier. So maybe that's tip number 2, which is try and do it as much of the dirty and horrible stuff as possible before anyone goes anywhere near going in it. But I know that that's not likely for many of us, is it? It's one of these, it's a compromise, isn't it? So yeah, I would smash things about, drill those sockets at, if you haven't seen it, go back to me coring out through these bricks. I still wake up, sweaty palms, screaming, middle of the night, thinking about it. But I'd have done all of that, cleared it all out, put all the electrics in, and then I would have skimmed everywhere. I'd have plastered everywhere. I put it off because I can do it, but I don't enjoy it. Yeah, a lot of the things that have taken me ages is because I put them off because they're horrible jobs. There's no two ways about it. Some of them are absolutely, they're not easy. They're not fun. They're hard work. And you've got to sort of plan that in. You've got to pace yourself. I could have done it hell for leather. I probably needed 6 months off, in a darkened room, just recovering. So it's this blend, it's this combination of things. The time you've got available, the skills and the knowledge that you have available at the time, the materials, who's doing what in the house, and suddenly you think you've got a priority. It's not anymore because something else has happened. So it's all these things that go on. Anyway, I've fortunately talked for a bit in terms of distracting myself whilst I wait for this to go tacky, ready to bond. I'm going to try and sort of clamp in some bits of wood to hold it in place. I've It's a bit of an awkward one, so I'm gonna, yeah, I've got a couple of bits of, let's see if the clamping works. Let's see if the thing works. If it doesn't, hey, I'm sure you're gonna help me out with what I should be doing, how I should do it, and that's great, because if it don't work, I'll just strip it off and I'll do that instead. But I'm gonna crack on doing that bit right now. Okay, we've got, I don't know how well these are going to clamp and stay on sort of thing, but just to try and hold that stuff in the right spot, we'll see how it goes. And then, yeah, I think it'll need a little bit of cleaning up, but I think I've sort of got away with it. You know, if you all right, it's like anything. To appreciate great beauty, it's got to be the right distance that you're viewing it from and the right light. So I would say, you know, look at this from about 20 meters away in pitch black. And it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I'm annoyed it's not perfect. You know the one ages ago that I broke? That was like yin and yang combining, was that? This one's more like ping and pong. Anyway, look, we're getting closer, because now I can start to get the upstand in, you know, measure that up, cut that in, and then above that I can do the tiling. So that's pretty good, isn't it? And obviously now that we've got the door in here, I can now line up the work surface on this side, connect it in there again, yeah, and put the end panel on here. I'm not saying his diet could do with some improvement, but I have a funny feeling it says serves 8. I have a funny feeling he didn't have 7 friends around. I reckon Matt might have done that in one go. Hazelnut and caramel s'mores, hey? So pizza and a big sort of cake. Yeah, that's my boy. Anyway, we're going to come back and we're going to carry on trying to fit this. Do you know there's something about it already looks a little bit more finished somehow? We're getting closer, folks. But join me again as we continue a bit of this and we learn as we go, and we continue the escape to the dream house. See you soon.